Now available on Blu-ray from Arrow Home Video is 1976's New Fist of Fury. Very early starring role for Jackie Chan. Well, eventually starring role for Jackie Chan. We'll get back to that. In a sequel, I believe the first sequel to Bruce Lee's Fist of Fury. This is directed by Lo Wei, and the Golden Harvest release, the company that Chan would spend the entirety of his Hong Kong career making films for, or at least the entirety of the classic period of his Hong Kong career. And so this is interesting. It's an interesting Blu-ray release. This is a film that I had seen when I first got into Jackie Chan. It was a little bit ahead of when he exploded here in the 90s with Rumble in the Bronx. I had seen this incredibly strange film show episode, this British TV series, and if you haven't found it, it's amazing. British TV series hosted by Jonathan Ross that would talk about different international filmmakers who made like cult movies basically at the time. This was the late-ish 80s. And they did them on Jackie Chan. And at that point, I only knew Jackie Chan as that kung fu guy from Cannonball Run, which was pretty much all anybody in the America, generally speaking, knew him for. And this incredibly strange film show just like opened my eyes to, oh my God, this guy's been making movies in Hong Kong that I've never seen, and they look incredible. And I went out and tried to find all that I could. And mostly what you could find here at that time, before really the DVD releases started coming out, were releases of his earlier films, like New Fist of Fury. And if you only know him from his late 80s and onward films, it's a little bit of an adjustment to watch these earlier martial arts films, where in some he's just an actor and the choreography is a lot less flowing and kinetic than it is in the films that you know him for. So New Fist of Fury is in that realm. So the film picks up, there's two versions on this disc, let me say. There is the Hong Kong edit, and then there is a later reissue cut from 1980. This film, as I said, is 1976. So the 1976 original theatrical cut is about 2 hours. I gasped. I'm so excited about this film. The re-release edit from 1980, once Jackie Chan had really first made a splash, it was recut to really feature him more and get to the Chan a lot more, and it's got a new score. So it's a much more synthy, funky kind of score in the 1980 edit. That version is 82 minutes. So the original cut begins with the survivors of the end of, I'm not going to give anything away about Fist of Fury, or not much about New Fist of Fury, but the people who survived the ending of the original Fist of Fury. Not to ruin anything, but let's just say Bruce Lee doesn't make it to the end of of the original Fist of Fury. His friends and mentor basically gather right after the end of that film. You could almost cut these into one long movie, and they say, what do we do? What do we do? And the mentor, I believe is played by Lo Wei, says to the younger male and female, I'm gonna get you to Taiwan. Go to Taiwan and you'll be safe. And this is set in the days of Japanese occupied China, Hong Kong, Taiwan. And they say, okay, we'll go to Taiwan to stand up against and fight the Japanese. We're basically going to regroup and go there, which is also Japanese occupied, and fight them. They go there, they meet up with Jackie Chan, who is this young, sort of rapscallion, street guy, scamp, who doesn't really have any interest in what they're doing, but ultimately gets pulled into their struggle for standing up for Chinese being Chinese and trying to fight the oppressor. The oppression is taking many forms in this film, one of which is the typical 70s martial arts movie of, your school is no good. Our school is the one, you need to put our name, you need to put our name on your school because our martial arts are the best, and we're going to go to your place and we're going to beat you up with our martial arts, and we're going to bust up your sign. That was always a big thing. We're going to destroy your sign, and you need to admit that our martial arts are the best. So that's kind of what's going on in this movie. The martial arts in this are pretty good. The fight choreography with Chan shows a lot of the style that he would become known for, a lot of that, amusing, kind of comedic, kind of trying to avoid a fight a little bit, kind of making fun of the person you're fighting while you're doing it. It's not quite, again, to the level it's still very rhythmic, feels very rehearsed, very dance-like, more so than it would, a decade down the road. But it's still fun to see here. I will say that in the original cut of the film, which is why it got recut in some ways, the original cut of the film, Chan is really kind of a side, minor-ish character until about half, 3/4 of the way through the film. Then he really steps up to the fore. He really decides he's not going to mess around anymore. He's going to rally the fellow Chinese people and stand for what's right. Until then, he's sort of a sideline guy. In the recut version of it, what originally happens a bit into the film, his character introduction, is like under the credits. It's right up front. They really don't waste any time to get to who they're re-releasing and re-editing this film to highlight. So is it as good as Fist of Fury? Of course it's not as good as Fist of Fury. I thought it was a little dull myself in the 2-hour form. I didn't watch the 80-minute version in its entirety, but I feel like for my moronic sensibility, the 80-minute version might play a little bit better. There is an audio commentary by Brandon Bentley on the 1980 edit where he talks about some of the things that were left out of the film, and he says he feels that this probably was a bit too aggressive in edit and what they took out to streamline the film, but just knowing how the 120-minute version felt, 20 to 30 minutes a little sluggish to me. I feel like the 1980 one might play better. At any rate, to me, it is very cool that we have the option of seeing both. I love that Arrow has been doing this. Arrow and 88 Films and a lot of these companies that have been doing these releases of classic Hong Kong cinema, they're giving you every edit there was, and it's cool. Sometimes there are things that are exclusive to those edits. In this case, it's, the opening titles and the, spelling his name Jackie in the 1980 edit as opposed to Jacky in the 1976 version, but also that different music score and things like that. It's cool to be able to fully immerse yourself in the history of a film with, it was put out this way for this audience and it was put out that way for that audience, and gone are the days where you have to hunt down international copies and bootlegs and multiple formats to get all this stuff. These companies, in this case Arrow, are doing exactly what us mega fans of film and specific films have always wanted, which is all of it in one case. Put it all in one thing. I don't want to keep my previous version because it's got some extra thing or some edit or some piece of music that is only on that one. Put it all in one so I can get rid of all the other ones and consolidate shelf space. So I thank Arrow personally for doing that. So extras, what are the extras on this? So we have the aforementioned commentary. We have New Fist Part 2 Fist, which is very fun and interesting too. Once again, Brandon Bentley does a video essay where he compares the two sequels to Fist of Fury. There was New Fist of Fury, and there was also Fist of Fury Part 2, both of which were purporting to say, we're the sequel to Fist of Fury. So it compares and contrasts the two with stills and clips, and that's really cool. That's 7 minutes, and then we have a trailer gallery. So this trailer gallery basically covers every version of the Fist of Fury story that has been released to date. And I will run down the list, and pardon me for reading it, but there's no way I'm going to remember all this. You get the original theatrical trailer for New Fist of Fury, that's 3 minutes. You get the theatrical trailer, the English version, which is a different edit for New Fist of Fury, which is also 3 minutes. You get the Chen trailer reel. This is 18 minutes. This is what I was talking about. It's 18 minutes of trailers that are all basically telling different adaptations of that same story of Fist of Fury. You get Fist of Fury Part... I didn't say that. Fist of Fury Part 2, Fist of Legend with Jet Li. You get Fist of Fury, which is a Donnie Yen TV adaptation. You get Legend of the Fist, which sounds like pretty much every movie that the Weinstein Company put out that was a Hong Kong film from years earlier, retitled, and another Fist of Legend. And then you get an image gallery, which is 26 images. So fans of Jackie Chan are rejoicing. Fans of classic Hong Kong and martial arts cinema and Golden Harvest and Shaw Brothers these days should be rejoicing because so many companies are putting out these really nice Blu-ray editions of these films. And basically whatever titles that one doesn't put out, the other does. So right now you've got about 3 or 4 maybe US-based companies that are putting out these really nice versions of Chan films. I don't really care who puts them out because they're all doing an excellent job. It's just nice to have them all on the shelf. I'm literally like selling off and getting rid of the old Hong Kong DVDs I had from the 90s that look horrendous compared to these new transfers. So New Fist of Fury, classic martial arts cinema from the 70s, sequel to the Bruce Lee uber classic, early link in the Jackie Chan chain, is available now on Blu-ray from Arrow Home Video.